We haven't even started, and you're already accusing me of something.
I don't know what you're talking about, JD.
Literally.
What is this energy you immediately bring to the show?
He gaslights me 5 seconds before he hits record, and then I just react.
Yeah. Well, that got us in there. Here we are. What up, folks? How's it going? How's life?
Yeah.
How's things? Sound off in the comments.
Sound off in the comments down below. Tell us how you're doing. It's no. Oh, I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's November. It's the end of the year. When does this come out?
Okay. I don't know when it's coming out.
By the episode that will come out, I will still have blue hair.
Yeah.
And then by the time that this comes out, I hopefully will be back to blue hair.
Back to blue? Oh, going back to blue now.
Yeah, it's so jarring. Like I will tell you right before is that I'm so used to having a cool color palette that having the red, it's like a nice cherry red, but I'm also red. Like, ooh, it's poke.
It's kind of I feel like it's kind of it's cool-ish red though. So
yeah. So I chose a cool red because I didn't want it to fade into a strange color. Yeah. So this just kind of fades into an apple kind of red. Nice. I'm like, Lord, but I'll get used to it for in the meantime.
Well, it's there.
While it's there, everybody.
This era will have come and gone by the time this episode is out. But here it is. Encapsulated for a moment.
For a minute.
Yeah, nice.
For a second.
Yeah. Anyhow, here we are. New season. New shit to talk about. And this season, we're talking kind of like a central spooky thing. We're talking ghosts.
We're talking ghosts. Yeah. And we will have a lot to say. But before we say...
The Red Bull?
I need to try it.
Out. Okay. This is the winter edition Red Bull. It is what is it? Fucking it's Fiji. Is it Fiji apple?
Fuji apple and ginger. Artificially flavored.
Yes.
It vitalizes the body and mind. Ben sent this to me a photo the other day, and he was like, "What did you say?" Ambrosia. Yeah. So when someone says ambrosia, despite the fact that he has told me to go watch a television show, and it ended up making me so mad at him, I'm going to try it. I haven't had a Red Bull in so long. Okay, it smells good though. It smells like a candy.
For the top notes.
Yeah, the notes of just like an apple. Is this more apple forward than ginger? I feel like sometimes drinks with ginger in them, it's like the ginger comes after. That's the aftertaste. I
don't want to inform how you taste it. So
okay,
go ahead and take a taste, and then I'll share my feelings on it.
Okay, 114 mg of caffeine. What is the on caffeine content is just 38. That's
not bad.
That's fine. I haven't had Adderall and I haven't had coffee today, so I should be fine. Okay. Wait. But that's kind of good. It doesn't taste like a weird... Wait.
Hey, it works. They were cooking. I think this is the best winter edition one I've had.
This is good.
It's more gingery than I expected it to be. I feel like it's not gingery, but I feel like, like ginger ale, like the kind of standard shit you get, Canada Dry shit, is almost like no ginger,
It's just spicy.
Yeah. Like
it's just.
But then you have a Reed's ginger beer, which to me is like a goated ginger beer. And that's like the other end of the spectrum, where it's like, this is spice, this is heat, this is ginger.
I was actually scared a little bit that I wasn't gonna like it because of the ginger. Sometimes a drink with ginger in it is like the ginger that happens afterward. I hate it. No ginger that's happening afterward. I don't hate it. It's actually more apple candy than anything to me.
Yeah, it's mostly apple.
This is kind of good.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna make you want to try this on his own time in a different day, not from this can, because this is mine.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's actually good.
It's good. Look, this is not SpawnCon. Obviously.
We could blur that out and it still wouldn't matter. It's kind of good.
It's not bad.
In like a shocking way.
Yeah. Folks know. Maybe you don't. I'm definitely a Red Bull boy. It's my only energy drink that I'm on at this point. And I tasted this one. I was like, this is it. This is my winter drink. This is my winter beverage.
Ambrosia.
This is my pumpkin spice fall. My
yeah.
What's the winter equivalent? Like coffee drink.
I don't know.
Eggnog?
I was gonna say like eggnog. Oh, see, eggnog, like a peppermint mocha. I don't know.
It probably is right. Yeah.
Oh, a peppermint mocha. Oh, a hot chocolate wine.
Well, is that not an all year round thing for you, or is that just only? Is that a winter only?
It's when there is a sweet wine in the house.
Ooh, a sweet wine. So
sweet red wine. Yeah, really good.
What are sweet red wines?
I don't know. It's just whatever my dad has in his stash that he doesn't want to drink, and I will drink it.
I was just thinking of what is it, Madeira? Have you had that?
Listen, I don't look at the names.
I think it's like I think it's like a Portuguese style.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, that one I always think is very sweet. Like I feel like that's what it's known for.
Maybe I'll look for that. Maybe the time that I make you a hot chocolate wine, it'll be a
Madeira.
that.
Oh, Madeira is a fortified wine from the Portuguese island of Madeira, known for its unique aging process that creates complex flavors like nuts, caramel, and burnt sugar.
Wait, see, wouldn't that work with hot chocolate, man? You gotta put your mind to it the way that
I hear you. Man, I don't know. I really don't like wine. I've never liked wine.
Oh, you don't like? Do you not? You don't like the tannins? You just don't like it at all?
I don't like the tannins. I mean, at this point, I don't drink, but it's also just like wine was never my like the headaches were. I feel like the worst for me with wines. It's probably the tannin related. Yeah, and just like the feeling. I don't know. I never liked being like. I feel like wine drunk was like always kind of like heavy, you know. Yeah, not a feeling to that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. For folks who do drink wine but don't like tannins, just do white.
Yeah,
white wine. But if you don't drink,
Riesling.
Yeah, if you don't drink, you don't drink. You don't drink.
Pinot Blanc is that one? No, Pinot Grigio.
Grigio. Yeah.
We went to Napa Valley College. We know our wine. Okay?
we know our wine. My dad is a wine collector as well. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't notice the literal walls of wine in our house every time you here. Next time you gotta say
I gotta look at the walls more.
You gotta look at the walls more, okay? Stop paying attention. Stop looking for the cats every time. Okay? Yeah, gotta look at the wines, but yeah.
Interesting. Well, look, we've given you something to sip on. Something to think about.
Oh wait, isn't that like our usual thing before? Where like we talk about like a food or like something.
We do tend to talk about
Hot
food.
Pocket.
Yeah. I think our next podcast will just be food related, probably.
Food.
We'll just be like Doughboys.
But we're still on this one. Yeah. Okay, we're still on this one and the other one.
Did we all just say that and we're like, man, that sounds fun? Like, it's just like
we're just like,
what if? Anyway, hold up, like what if? Anyway.
The last season of Ice Cream Eating Podcast because we're gonna go eat now. we ate here.
Yeah,
we're gonna eat there.
Okay. But no, we talking ghosts and JD. You're doing the honors this time. You're the first up.
First up. Who's on first? Me. Okay. Season. What? Number 5?
Probably. Yeah.
Season. Put that in there. I'm going to just say number 4 or 5. Oh, wait, 4? Number 4. Okay. So.
Definitely 5.
Well, okay, 5. Okay. All right. Let's get it. Okay. So, as connoisseurs of the ghost hunt, Ben, we're pretty familiar with what a ghost hunt investigation entails. You go to a location that's known to be haunted, have ghosts, and then you got your tools and you ask your questions and you try to find evidence of the afterlife or ghosts. But how did that all start out? You all call back to me. Spiritualism, JD. Yes, good boy. Anyway, spiritualism is associated with the idea that we can communicate with the dead. Emanuel Swedenborg was believed to be the father of the concept because of, I will say, when I was looking through book titles for this whole thing, I sent one of the titles to my friend and I said, we just used to title things the way that they are titled. Okay.
Yeah.
So Emanuel Swedenborg's father of the concept, because of the book he wrote, the Earths in our solar system, which are called planets, and the Earths in the starry heaven and their inhabitants, also the spirits and angels, therefore they're from things heard and seen.
Yeah, they were really doing like abstracts as titles back in the
day. Yeah, that's the abstract. That's their main idea. That's the key point of the thing. But yeah, from that book and his experiences with speaking with the dead that were described in his writing, those who were slowly slipping away from religion during that time often sought out spiritualism, perhaps as an alternative, while still hanging on to the idea of afterlife and all that it entails. Now, when it comes to stateside, spiritualism, in Jennings Brown's Proton Packs and Teddy Bears, the pseudoscientific history of ghost hunting gadgets, Brown writes that the modern spiritualist movement began in 1848, also maybe 1847. I'm going to go with 1848. With the now famous to us, the Fox sisters. In their Hydesville, New York home, Margaret, or Maggie, who was 14 at the time, and Kate, 11, Fox reportedly communicated with spirits through questions answered with tapping and rapping on surfaces in their room. The Fox sisters apparently spoke with a man who had been murdered in their home long before the Fox family had moved in. Once folks got wind of this, it was only up and up for the sisters from here until the end, of course. They held demonstrations, people copied them, and so on and so forth. The Fox sisters are obviously one of the most prominent figures in spiritualism, possibly even outshining Emanuel Swedenborg in the minds of the lay people.
Yeah, I don't know who Swedenborg is. So,
yeah, you're like, oh, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, okay. I wrote Sir Strawman because I was like, Swedish name? I don't fucking know. Yeah,
you're like, yeah, Emanuel Sir Strawman, yeah. Right? Stein. But okay. In my part, we're gonna talk about the art of ghost hunting or communication back in the days of the Fox sisters and their contemporaries. We're talking about how it was done, who was doing it, and the results that you can get from that, from the most basic to the most convoluted. We're going to go into it and see how it's done. Okay. When it comes to the art of the hunt, when you're trying to serve Major Hunt, I titled that Serving Major Hunt. Okay. We can start with the body because it can be absolute tea, but also get you some tea. Though fairly difficult to measure because it's not easy to feel or record what other people are experiencing when it comes to ghostly communications, the body is one of the most basic ways to communicate with ghosts or ghost hunt, right? The body is our most basic technology, our most Victorian of them all. Think of those moments when you feel like you're being watched, just in general, right? Someone is standing way too close to you, right? How does your body register that feeling? Does the hair on the back of your neck stand up? Do you feel a little bit claustrophobic in some way? Do you get a tingly feeling on your skin? Is there a shift in the sounds of the room that you're noticing? These can be useful for ghost hunting. We see this often demonstrated in ghost hunting shows now with when I was writing this, genuinely, I was like, I have read too much. I was like, and the ghost hunting shows with the actors, hunters, telling us about feelings. And guys, please stop majoring in theater and then becoming a ghost hunter. It's driving me crazy. Most of y'all are doing this.
You're doing too much too, I feel like. Do you know if the guy that got fingered by the ghost?
What?
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Girl,
you know who I'm talking about. The guy who did we not send each other the clip? Did I not send you the clip? I didn't, I guess. It was like you know the guy he's like the UK ghost hunting show.
This is like really, really old. It's like haunted or like
right, yeah. Who was like he walks into a room, he's like, oh, I'm afraid to say it.
Oh yes. Oh my god. I can't. Yes,
stuck something up my ass.
Yeah.
It was like the only American guy, and you were just like, God, you make us look bad, dude. Like this is not cool. Like,
Lord, anyway. But yeah, I mean, like that. Like, how do you record that other than saying you've just been, I guess, finger banged by a ghost? I don't know. They tell us the things that they feel, the things that they're witnessing that cameras cannot capture. Their most vivid retellings of their experiences can't be conveyed to us because we weren't there. You had to be there. But it's recorded in some way when they're filmed to be experiencing it or talking about it in a talking section. If you want to get a little bit more advanced with a body, we have psychometry, which involves touching something and sometimes even walking through a location associated with a stone tape theory or place memory and interacting with it in some way in order to get information. The concept, coined in 1842, originates from Joseph R. Buchanan And the following is sourced from the Manual of Psychometry, The Dawn of a New Civilization. Buchanan outlines his experiences with psychometry and makes acknowledgments of how outsiders or non-believers may receive this information and how they would interpret it, because it can sound a little bit silly. In Buchanan's experiments during the time, he gathered evidence where people were able to glean information just from touching things. He says, in these experiments, it soon appeared that the power was quite common, that there were many who could determine by touching a piece of metal or by holding it in their hands what the metal was, as they recognized a peculiar influence proceeding from it, which in a few moments gave them a distinct taste in the mouth. So by touching a metal or holding it in their hands, they could tell what the metal was and then taste it, right? So, I mean, if I touched a metal, I think, I don't know, maybe, right?
I don't know. What is that really showing? I don't know.
Not believer. Right. He acknowledges that the sight of the object can influence the information that people are getting from it. Right. So he basically did a blind study style thing where the people interacting with the objects did not see them until after the experiment. Ben, you can see the sort of things still in your face. You're like, okay, Joseph. Okay. You can see this sort of thing still used currently as well, where one person may bring an object that once belonged to someone to a location or something important to the location to try and use that as a trigger. However, more directly, this is at times I'm literally, for everybody, if you're looking at the script right now, you're like, JD, you are using too much. And I'm like, whatever. This is at times used by psychics in order to try and glean information such as locations, feelings, memories, and etc. from an object to parse out something about what someone might need, right? Automatic writing and mesmerism are two ways that the body is also used in order to commune with ghosts. Automatic writing is as it says on the tin. It's writing done unconsciously or through a spirit, whether by a medium or just a normal person. This can be done with any writing utensil, so it's still at the basic section of our methods. Leonora Piper is a well-known name associated with this method, along with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and the notorious debunker Harry Houdini. Piper was studied heavily by William James of the Society of Psychical Research because of her trance-induced automatic writing. Piper was able to withstand and prove some of her credibility during these studies, which at the time meant that they couldn't figure out how she was doing it for the most part.
In the 1800s or something, right?
Yeah, you know, she passed the test where they were poking her.
Where they asked her, how do you do that?
And she said, I just can't. Oh. And they're like, you know what? Yeah. Crazy. That's so what crazy. Right? She closed her eyes and she was able to glean the information. You know, you can sort of, never mind.
Yeah,
right?
No, you can't vote though. No, that's not.
Right? They're like, hold on, that's so cool. You can't vote.
What does your husband think about this? Right? Yeah.
He's like, so did you actually get this power from? Is there a man?
Did your husband
telling you?
Did you get this power? Like, did he say?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then, upon reading into it, if that does make you think of all those kids, who get trained to be psychic or something by their parents, and you know those videos of the kids who can see through blindfolds and tell you, like, have you seen those people where they're like there's some sort of uniform and they're like out in the grocery stores and they're like looking at walls of like cans and they'll be like, oh, so this one's a can of chickpeas. This one's a can of garbanzo beans. Have you seen any of those videos?
So we're talking like
I will send you.
Is that? Are they?
They are a group of people who are training each other to be psychic.
A similar outfit and like the same outfit.
Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah, yeah. So they're wearing like some uniform that could be sourced from Asia because they're talking about how like in East Asia they have these. Yeah. So you know that then. So yeah, it's like making you think of all that because they wear the blindfolds. Mm-hmm. But if you see how they wear the blindfolds, it's like if you covered your eyes like this and then you had a little thing at the bottom and you were only looking at things like this.
Right, yeah.
So you can kind of see it.
Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem with blindfold. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think about them like that, right? They sell the blindfolds, I'm pretty sure, and they're supposed to just help you sleep. Like the general gist of them is like, this is a really good like blackout blindfold. Yeah. But it also on the side, it's like the sleepy time bear tea. It's also being sold by,
Yeah.
a group of people who wear
an
interesting group of people, right? Then we have an offshoot of Franz Mesmer's concept of mesmerism, which at one point was used in some form in order to present the idea that mediums can channel forces in their body. Animal magnetism or mesmerism poses the idea that there is an invisible natural force, Lebens magnetismus. The first time I read that, it did not go well.
Magnetismus.
I was like, lesbians magnetismus. Exactly. Yeah.
Is mesmerism the same thing as like hypnosis or?
Yeah. So, it's the idea that mediums can channel forces in their body. It says that there's an invisible natural force possessed by all living things, including humans, animals, and vegetables.
Lesbian magneto.
Lesbian magnesium. That's what I take every morning. Anyway, Edward W. Cox postulates that the human body, particularly that of mediums when they are in trances, can be used to channel a force that can control their body and move it. In Reverend Chauncey Hare Townsend's book that also has a really long title, Facts in Mesmerism with Reasons for a Dispassionate Inquiry into It, there's mention of the idea that people in a trance can exhibit paranormal abilities, such as clairvoyance. This aspect of mesmerism that's used in spiritualism is separate from the concept of possession. From what I've read on it, as spirit possession is more about the control of the human body by spirits, ghosts, and etc. So everyone listening, you can rest it easy. Mesmerism is not the same. Moving a bit deeper into the body on the physicality side, because we've already talked about the Fox sisters, we're going to talk about tapping and rapping, right? This was initially how they spoke with the mystery murdered man in their home. They'd ask a question, then they'd get a response back in the form of a tap or rap on a surface. It is tapping and rapping. Those are the two words that always come together when you look up what the Fox sisters do. Tapping and rapping. Yeah, it's tapping and rapping, right? According to Alexis Pedrick in Ghost Hunting in the 19th Century, a very short title compared to all the other titles we're going to have, the girls were tapping, pun intended, into the fact that the people already understood Morse code as a kind of miraculous communication from elsewhere. Morse code was at the time something used in telegraphs. It connected people in ways that they had never been before. The Fox sisters, in a sense, were connecting people in similar ways when they took the party to the road and started demoing for those who wanted to witness it and commune with the dearly departed. Tapping and rapping is pretty straightforward. Something that we see in even modern day ghost hunting shows and personal attempts. You can sort of do like the shave and haircut knock, a try, because that's like a pretty long-standing way to get responses, as it's been around since 1899, apparently.
Right. The ghosts are going to understand shaving a haircut.
Yeah. So that's like a good 120 years of like ghost coverage, right? This method could also involve bells, where you'd have the ghost ring a bell in order to answer a question in place of knocking back at you, right? If they don't want to touch, if they don't have enough power to, rap on IKEA wood, they can do it on a bell, right? However, the key thing about this method is that you have to keep it pretty simple with your questions, right? Things that can be answered with one tap or two to signal a yes or no are best for it. We can compare this even with the flashlight method, where turning the flashlight on and off can signal the same things. In terms of tapping and rapping, the Fox sisters developed a system with their house ghost and were able to determine a bunch of things, including their ghost's name and place of rest. However, we know that the Fox sisters ended up saying that they were essentially faking it all. From the Fox sisters and the Rap on Spiritualism by Abbott Kaler, it's quoted that Maggie Fox said, "At night, when we went to bed, we used to tie an apple on a string and move the string up and down, causing the apple to bump on the floor. Or we would drop the apple on the floor, making a strange noise every time it would rebound." Apples.
Fuck all going on back then. Jesus Christ.
They did not have TikTok, so they had to do this.
Yeah.
If they had TikTok, they would never have had spiritualism. So we know of their famous toe, joint, and knuckle popping in order to also deceive people around them into thinking that the sisters are getting responses from ghosts or just having a ghostly experience. All in all, the whole thing was just that. Maggie commented that a great many people, when they hear the rapping, imagine at once that the spirits are touching them. So they didn't really have to do much to make people think that there were ghosts. Yeah. They would do a little knocking and the rich people would be like,
they're pretty ready to believe it. They were, yeah.
Yeah. Again, if they just had smartphones, if they just had TikTok. Maggie also did a bit of that whole like masked magician. Do you remember the masked magician? he was like unveiling the secrets of all magicians.
Oh, he was like a dark magician or whatever. Like he was like telling tales out of school on like how magic tricks work and shit.
Yeah, he was like this masked dude, and he would like just demonstrate how it was done. He would demonstrate the trick, and then after that, he would be like, "Oh, yeah." I mean, and he's not talking. Right?
Gotcha. I mean, look, as known, I'm not a fan of magicians, but I do feel like that's kind of an asshole move. Still, like,
I know, right? A little bit, right? So, she did a bit of that masked magician bit by exposing some of the tricks that were used in order to deceive people into believing mediums and other ghost communicators like her and her sisters. However, something to note that Maggie Fox, this is not something that I knew. She ended up recanting her claims a little later, saying that her spirit guides were telling her to do that.
We're telling her to debunk spiritualism.
Yeah. They told her to say like it was fake.
Interesting play there, Maggie.
Yeah. But essentially it was too late, and all it did was further drive contempt towards her from non-spiritualists and spiritualists.
Yeah, you're not gonna win any friends at that point. No, actually, I know I've been saying this is all bullshit, but like the ghosts made me say that. Unfortunately, and like I'd really love to be let back into the spiritual. I can actually talk to ghosts. I know.
She's like, they're lying.
They're lying. The ghost,
but I'm not.
The ghost gaslit me into saying,
So the ghost did what Ben did to me in the beginning, where he said something and then hit record, and all you heard was my reaction. But moving on from the body, we'll now look at methods with tools. Since we brought up the bell, we're still at the basic aspect of having tools, right? So we have the dowsing rods, the compass, and the pendulum, which all serve a similar purpose. You hold them steady and they respond to the energy around them, moving and pointing at things that could be significant, right? According to How to Be a Vintage Ghost Hunter, a dowsing rod seems fairly easy to make, but it takes some time to understand. As a tool, it started out with just being tree branches, and folks in modern times started using metal rods, but you can make them with any two objects in your house that can act in a similar way when you hold them. So if you have two pencils, like have a little bend to them, knitting needles, I don't know, you can do that. You may have seen them used to point to relevant directions, to lead users to specific locations, but you've also seen them be used to answer yes or no questions. For example, rods pointing to the left or creating an X can indicate a no. Pointing to the right or both rods pointing outwards can indicate a yes. The compass can also function like an old school EMF reader. As connoisseurs, we know that the EMF reader is used to measure electromagnetic fields, but what exactly is an electromagnetic field? Is it just a ghost thing? No, that's real, guys, right? It's real physics theory stuff. And as someone who did take physics theory in college, I suppose you think that I can explain this shit. But no, I'm an idiot. And I was telling Ben, I was like, I can explain this with my hands, but not with my words. So you're just going to get it straight from Wikipedia. An electromagnetic field, also known as an EM field, is a physical field varying in space and time that represents electric and magnetic influences generated by and acting upon electrical charges. So it's like two things like this. And then there's like, they go like that. And then it's like the EMF, the EMF meter is measuring any single time, but there's a lot of it, or there's like disruptions to that, like
the field around
that is
magnetic things or electric. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's this. And then there's like arcs everywhere, blah, 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 that kind of thing. EMF is always present, everybody. Whether it be from your TV, fridge, whatever. It's just not huge amounts of it, right? The amount of EMF probably in this little corner right now is probably astounding, but that's only because I have all of my
got your tech
machines. Yeah, right? I'm getting it, right? In the paranormal space, high EMF indicates ghostly disturbances, but also the presence of an electrical vibe. Sometimes you've seen the times where like, they're like, oh, let's do like a sweep of the EMF so that when we actually do the ghost hunt, when we see a spike, that's when we know it's real, right? If you watch enough Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, whichever one is your flavor, you'll know that high EMF can also make you feel a little woozy and a little weird. According to Healthline, exposure to EMF in significant uncontrolled amounts may lead to headaches, tremors, dizziness, memory loss, loss of concentration, and sleep disturbance. Now, that could just be me with a lot of caffeine after weeks of no Adderall and little self-control, but you can also connect the ghostly dots.
That's how I feel most of the time, pretty much.
Yeah. So have you ever checked if you have high EMF or ghost spin, right? Because it's like
highest sensitivity to EMF.
Yeah. Maybe you have an allergy, right? But yeah, it says right here, do an exercise on how those things can be seen as paranormal occurrences. Okay, Ben.
Yes.
High EMF exposure means headaches, tremors, dizziness, memory loss, loss of concentration, and sleep disturbances. How can those things? Give me, out of those ones, give me 2 examples of ways that they can be that they can be interpreted as a paranormal occurrence.
As ghosts?
Headaches? Yeah. Tremor, dizziness, memory loss, loss of concentration.
I feel like pretty much anything, any feeling, again, back to the body thing, right? If you feel it, you can interpret it as being caused by a ghost, right? Yeah. Like I can see definitely like, you know, getting tremors and be like, the ghost is fucking with me, man. It's in my head. Headache, anything like that. Sleep disturbances, obviously, ghosts are trying to talk to you at your dreams.
Yeah.
So I think that's another option.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is like, you can never prove the negative that something is not caused by a ghost. So it could be being caused by a ghost, right?
Who's the burden of proof on? You know?
The ghost.
The ghost, right? Come out.
So
exactly. Yeah. So but when it comes to pendulums, dowsing rods, the compass, how is any of that relevant when it comes to the EMF? As we know, compasses are used to help you figure out cardinal directions, with a main needle pointing at magnetic north. I've never had to explain some of these. I just know all of these just like inherently. Yeah. But when I explain them, I'm like, am I dumb? This doesn't sound right. But I'm like, I know that's right. Yeah. You know, right? In terms of using them in ghost hunting or communication, apparently they can serve the same purposes as EMF readers, where the needle will go haywire or act up in general due to high presence of EMF. Disturbances in the magnetic connection. Additionally, ghosts can try and manipulate them by moving the needle to answer your question, right? According to old school tools of a ghost hunter, popular techniques from different periods of history by Roxanne Krauss, pendulums are based on the idea that they respond to the subtle energy fields or vibrations of the environment or the user. Yeah. I'm telling you, and we'll talk about this later. This essentially is going to serve you the same way the compass and the dowsing rod is, right? For people like me who were girls in middle school, you could use a necklace as a pendulum in order to find out if you were going to have a girl child or a boy child, or maybe if a boy liked you. What it couldn't tell you though, guys, if your necklace told you that you were going to have a girl or boy, it didn't tell you that if your child was later going to become non-binary, if they were going to change their gender, in the same way that a fork dropping in Filipino culture did not indicate to my parents that I was going to do exactly the same thing.
That's the problem. Divination is not very woke. Sometimes it doesn't have the
yeah. So guys, your pendulums, they have to be woke.
Yeah.
So sorry. And if you're like, oh, it got it wrong, I don't have a girl child. Just you wait.
Just wait. Give it time. You never know.
Give it time. Exactly. Just you wait. Right.
So I went to see some family, and I ran into one of my cousins who's like older than me, like more like aunt age, aunt status, you know. And her kid is transitioning, and she was trying to tell me that she thinks she should be able to choose the new name because she's the mom. And the EP was like, well, she already fucked up with one name. So, like, why does she think she can do it again? And I was like, yeah, pretty much exactly. I don't think there's any right to that.
Oh, my God.
But I was just like, I'd never heard that before. She was like, but I'm the mother. Of course, I should be able to give them their new name. Like, it makes sense.
I have been waiting for the accent ever since you came back. Okay?
Yeah. But yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know what she's kind of a crystal lady, too. So I don't know if the divination told her that her child was going to be.
Yeah. Do you think she was waiting for it? She was like, the pendulum's up.
List of other options for names ready to drop.
Yeah.
Because she's the mother.
So I consulted. Yeah. I consulted my compass, and it gave me this list of names. Yeah. So that's basically what happened. Well, for all 3 of these methods, everybody, it's incredibly important that you stay as still as possible. Practice and get to know your tool and ask the right things. Anyone can find an EMF, make a needle spin, and twirl around a necklace, but it takes the right person with the right set of skills to actually make something out of nothing. I mean, Make something out of all the information that you're getting from the readings.
Out of school here, Katie. Wow.
It takes a special person to get
the spirits are causing JD to lie. They are forcing them to be skeptical.
By episode 3 of the season, I would be like, I have something to tell you.
Yeah.
The spirits have told me to be very mean. But yeah, but it takes the right person to get it. But we're going to move on to different physical tools. Some stuff more obviously important to old school ghost chatting. One of these things is, I misread that for a second and I knew I wrote it. Anyway, one of these things is absolutely illegal in my house and we can never have. And the other looks like a vuvuzella's dark and horrible cousin. I misread vuvuzela as Bola. Yeah. I'm not wearing my glasses. Anyway, spirit board, or what we maybe most know of as Ouija boards, are boards, sheets of paper, or whatever works for you that have letters, numbers, symbols on them that, when combined with a planchette of some sort, can help you communicate with the departed. Patented in 1890, the tool is commonly used during seances by those who want to talk with ghosts. The Ouija was for communicating, some good old-fashioned talking to the dead type shit. However, it took a turn once the narrative about the board eventually became that it's demonic. It's going to lead to home hauntings and it's going to get you possessed, right? The general gist of a Ouija board was that you and a group of people, or maybe just yourself, would open up communications to the ghosts, then hold a planchette very lightly, with a finger or two, and then the ghost would maybe spell out your answers spell out their answers to your questions, and you would communicate that way. However, we know that sometimes this isn't entirely pure, as everything tends to be. If you're familiar with the ideomotor effect, it posits that even when you think you're not moving something or yourself, you can still kind of move it a little bit. That's my retelling of it. Yeah. Right. If you've listened to the past examples of tools that I've discussed, you know that dowsing rods, the compass, and the pendulum could be impacted by this, right? You just got to think about it real hard and make yourself immovable and something that can be subjected to further analysis if you want to do it right. Right. Then we have spirit trumpets. You ever heard of this?
No, this is new to me.
Yeah, spirit trumpets. They're a part of the Victorian era of ghost communications. Again, credited to Jonathan Coons of Ohio. A spirit trumpet looks like a cone or a big old trumpet thing. That it's meant to amplify sounds from the spirit world. Sorry, it's a big old boo-boozella, okay? It's meant to amplify sounds from the spirit worlds, including whistles, whispers, dogs barking, or wind or waves. Dogs barking is really what gets me. Why? Did you look it up?
The spirit trumpet and the second image where it's the guy he's being held in place and then he's being forced off to the trumpet. It's just insane. Oh, it's wild.
Oh God. Anyway.
Tough.
Stupid. It amplifies sounds, or a medium would sort of use it like you would speak into or holler into like a cone. Like, you know, it's part of the human nature that if you see a cone, you start to kind of use it. Exactly. Yeah. You're like, oh, guy's a megaphone. It's believed that the spirit trumpet would make communications from the ghostly world more audible and elaborate, probably because it can focus sound. Who knows? Like when you're yelling, you go like this, right? You could also think of those times when ghost hunters used listening devices with satellite dish type things around them to whatever, right? It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
but
ghosts kind of deaf, you know. So I gotta.
Yeah. Me and ghosts. Yeah. Hard of hearing.
A lot of ghosts are old, so you gotta kind of speak up when you're talking to an older person.
Maybe that's why you don't Maybe that's why you can't really go is there anyone here? Because they're not
gonna pick that up.
You gotta
really,
guys. You have to be again more accessible, even in your communication. So maybe just stick to the Ouija board or the henna. Some people will not like that I've just said that. I'll take that.
Is the Ouija board is that illegal in your house? Is that the one?
Yeah, it is incredibly illegal in my house. Then we'll go back into more furniture. Jumping back off the Fox sisters, we're going to start with tables. Everyone has them. We got them. I have a what is this, moving desk? That's I can go up and down, up and down. Yeah. You can do this with a regular desk. I'd recommend it better with a regular desk because it doesn't weigh 400 pounds, right? It's pretty straightforward and something you may be already familiar with when it comes to the Fox sisters' use of tapping and rapping. won't go too much detail about it, but we can talk about table tipping. Manifesting. Whoa. I literally just ended it there. Yeah.
Table flipping.
Guys,
look it up. Check it out.
Table tipping, look it up. Anyway, I'm gonna say now, it's literally like the same thing as it's like a huge planchette type thing, right?
Okay.
Where everyone will just hold onto the table. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And then people will say like,
I'm not moving it. Are you moving it?
I'm not moving it. You're who's moving it? And then like the boxers was like, if you're tapping on something, they're like with their toe or their hand or whatever, their knee. Mm-hmm. That's table tipping and tapping. We're going to talk about manifesting cabinets though, because this is my favorite part because I didn't even know about this, but did you ever watch David Copperfield specials when you were younger?
No.
Oh my fucking God. I did every year. Completely so amazed by David Copperfield. Mm-hmm. There was particularly one, I didn't even know that that's what this was, but I remember watching it in like, I think it was like my aunt's house where it's like, oh, he's on stage and like, there's like a box of some sort. And like at one point he just commands a whole bunch of like ghosts to come out of it. Ooh. And they come out.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being so amazed by that as a kid. And then all of a sudden when we're doing this research, I'm like, oh, so that's what it was. Right. So it's a manifesting cabinet or like a form of a manifesting cabinet. I wrote here that when I first read about this, it made me think of David Copperfield's special that I watched when I was younger that I found is called The Barclay House Illusion. In this illusion, David Copperfield is tied up and all, and he's in a small built.
Yes, he is.
I linked to a video in the script where he like walks through the whole like illusion. He talks about how it was built, how he interacts with people in it, and there's like a bit where he does talk about how he's in the thingy, he's like all tied up and he has a volunteer with him who's a guy who's like, and David Copperfield's like, hold my arm. And then the guy, obviously with a blindfold, accidentally holds his leg and he's like, you're way too happy to be here. Just real casual stuff, sure, I guess. David
Copperfield.
Right. So in it, he's like tied up and he'd tell the ghost to do something to him and they would pull up the curtain and they would drop the curtain and the ghost like helped him take off his jacket, pull it up again, it changed his hair. So it's like that kind of thing, right? But the gist was that David Copperfield in this box, in this thing, would call on the help of spirits to do stuff. This is the concept of a manifesting cabinet, right? Again, I've included a link to the illusion doing commentary on it, and it's generally like pretty good commentary, and it shows you how interesting it is to be doing all this back then on a yearly special and then having all of that happen in front of like an audience of people, right? Mm-hmm. The medium during the Victorian demonstrations time, though, would use less theatrical, budgetless, or near non-existent budget versions of this. They'd sit in a cabinet or a sectioned off part of the room. And they would do like the similar thing. They'd be like, oh, I'm in here with a ghost and you're going to hear tapping and rapping outside because I asked them to. That's what they would do. I was truly amazed by the David Copperfield version. And it made me think that I would have absolutely been one of the people in the Victorian era, minus the fact that I'm Asian, who was like, hell yeah, do that again. And they'd be like, who brought the little Chinese one in?
Right, yeah.
And I'd be like,
I didn't think we were letting them in here. What is going on? Yeah,
right. Like, this one escaped from the, what was that thing? The Paris exhibition?
Oh, the exhibition, the human zoo. Yeah.
This one escaped from the human zoo. Put them back in there. And I'd be like, oh, that's so nice.
We got to lose one.
I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice you remembered that I'm Filipino. Yeah. That one didn't. But yeah, I would genuinely be like, what the fuck? Anyway, however, as you may think that the Victorian era style of ghost hunting and communication was old shit and bare bones, you can see the ways that science of the time attempted to work with spiritualism and its discoveries. At the time, these two things were not necessarily separate. You know, you'd have like the psychical research, lab science type thing right now. We may not think of them as science now, because it's like associated with ghost hunting and communication, but it was still science of the time, even if it is hokey. Yeah. We won't go too much into these guys, but here's two of the interesting ones that I found straight up from the fucked up, twisted minds of the American Psychic Institute and Laboratory. The first one is the mirror galvanometer, which helps parse out whether a medium is real by testing them either when they're in a normal state or a trance state and recording the differences between the two states. Investigators can sort of see whether the medium is real or if they're just coming up with bullshit. In general, a galvanometer measures the soul force from the body, but you're like, JD, what the fuck?
What is this shit? What are we talking about?
The galvanometer is a real thing, but once again, they measure electric current.
It measures galvans.
And they measure galvans. Yeah. So it's like an EMF meter. EMF meter measures a real thing, but it's appropriated by the ghost by the community ghost, by the ghost community to say like, when there's a disturbance in the air, this means blah, blah, blah. So the galvanometer is basically like, it's more about like the responses to the questions. It's like when someone responds to a question, is there a disturbance in the force around them? That is because that they're real. They're a real medium because there's a disturbance of electric currents around them, right? That's what's happening. That's what's being recorded. But also it's just like, it's real and it measures electric current. That's about it.
Yeah, right.
Then we have the psychic howler or the ULULO meter. So that in my brain, ULOmeter?
ULUL?
ULULOMETR. It's that. This is going to remind you a little bit of a Jacob's ladder, if you think about it enough. It's a ghost hunting machine. Since I can't say it any better than this, you're getting it straight from the source. It is a sensitive coil of 3,000 finely tuned copper wires that may be set up in a room believed to be haunted and connected by wires with a receiving apparatus in a room where the observer listens through telephone receivers. Think of it as like when they do the thing where there's two different ghost hunters in different rooms and one of them is hearing the sounds from a spirit box and the other person in the room is answering. Right. It's kind of like that, but back then it's like, if you found that and you're out there stealing copper wires, you'd be rich now. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's a payday.
That kind of thing. Yeah, that is a payday. But those are the two of the most interesting ones. And now that I've given you some sort of Victorian era tools and things to do with your body and your tables and vuvuzela, let's talk about something incredibly important when you're ghost hunting. How do you stay safe while communicating with ghosts? While you're serving major hunt, you have to serve major safeness too. Yeah, right?
Key.
Ben, before we get into this situation, what are some things that you think personally will help keep you safe while talking to ghosts?
I'd say probably, we're going to get into my equipment stuff later. Okay. But definitely a flashlight is helpful. Like, you're going to be somewhere dark, potentially. You don't want to fall into a hole. Kind of just like,
you don't want to.
Basic like urban exploration stuff, Yeah. Or go into a pile of like standing water and get like disease,
So serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some very, very good things. And that's some like, Yeah.
In terms of like talking to the ghost, I don't know what you got.
What do I got?
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we have to reiterate this. Do not go into standing water. Do not get ancient fucking diseases.
Yeah. Don't go into caves. Don't go into standing water.
Those are some of the things what we will say in this podcast. Do not go into holes. Do not go into caves. Yeah. If something sounds like it's like devil's asshole, don't go into Nutty it, putty. No matter how curious. Nutty Putty Cave, guys. Don't fucking do that. But in terms of safety, growing up, there are things that my family would tell me when it comes to the paranormal ghost world, right? For one, I'm never supposed to open up myself to the possibility of ghost communications that will result in possession in any way. I cannot invite anything to my body and give it consent to take over. Another thing is that if I am in an unfamiliar space, I shouldn't try and talk to ghost strangers because they can lie to me or actually be bad. So if I am in, let's say, my grandmother's house in the Philippines, I can talk out loud to my uncle.
Yeah.
But if I am in a strange house and I think there's a ghost there, I'm never supposed to talk to it.
To a strange. Okay.
Yeah. Don't talk to strangers. Yeah. So I have to, I can talk to my uncle, but I can't talk to stranger.
Okay.
Stranger ghost style. Then if you go somewhere that could possibly have a ghost, you're always supposed to misdirect it, right? And never go straight home. This is very evident in general in Filipino culture, where you do something called pagpag, which means dust off. But in this case, it's to dust off a ghost by not heading straight home after, let's say you've gone to like a haunted location. But for the most part, if you go home, when you go to a funeral, you're supposed to pagpag. You go to a Best Buy, you go to a Target corporate office, you go to somewhere, and then you go home. Okay. You drop it off somewhere else, right? According to Protecting Yourself from Negative Entities on Ghost Hunts by Michelle Lemke, whatever.
Lemke?
This person, last name, middle name has K-E at the end, and the last name has K in the end, which I can never decide if it's Lemke or Lemk.
Oh, I don't know. Respect on your name, Queen, but yeah.
Michelle Lemk, but love that. Love that. These are some of the ways that you can stay safe during a ghost hunt, right? Before the hunt itself, you need to meditate to clear yourself and try some grounding exercises. Use crystals that have properties of protection. You can also smudge to cleanse your aura or the space around you. One very cool tip that I saw that is something that we should all follow is regularly cleanse your living and workspaces to keep a positive and high vibrational environment. Looking at my space right now, booty.
Yeah.
Right? The basic focus of these tips is to create and protect your energy field to make it sort of impassable to any negative forces. If you are someone who is religious, Michelle also recommends that you say a couple prayers for protection and guidance. When you're on an actual ghost hunt, Michelle highlights the way that respect is something that can help you make your investigation safer for all, right? Introducing yourself, keeping calm, being respectful, and then saying thanks when you leave is very important in life and in ghost hunting. Calling back to Filipino culture, we have this concept of tabi-tabi po, which is essentially saying, excuse me. Tabi-tabi po, just in general, means, excuse me, I'm coming through. But it's essentially, if you're using it in this way, it's saying, excuse me to any creature that you may encounter, giving them a heads up, respectfully asking them to like move over a bit or just be aware that you exist. And you can't see them. This is something just in general that's very ingrained in me, right? Anytime I'm in an area that's pretty full of nature, plant life, whatever, I'd say tabi-tabi po or like, excuse me, just in case whatever it is doesn't speak Tagalog, right? It's very important to me that I do that all the time. Because even if I don't necessarily believe in anything, something could be there that I don't believe in, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah. Well, even when I'm in our backyard, a place that Ben, is, there's a lot of plants. There's a lot of things down there.
Backyard.
Great backyard, very big. I still say like, tabi-tabi po, even if it's technically my home, because I acknowledge that I may share some space with things that I can't see. And I want them to know that I don't necessarily want to step on them or hurt them in any way. And if I do, it is not on purpose, because I have been told many, many stories about several of my uncles, people back home that would very much be disrespectful to any space, any tree, and piss on them, and how one of them was like essentially like followed home by something or woke up with like another thing. And I'm like, I know that this is in general teaching me to be very kind to like nature, to never like stomp on anything, because like in my brain, I'm like growing up, it's like, oh, there might be a little gnome here, blah, blah, blah. But in general, it's teaching me to be respectful to the space. Yeah. But there's still a part of my brain that's like, there could be something here and I don't want to step
just
on
in case. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just in case. Right. In general, you should also try to set boundaries and have a strong sense of willpower. By establishing boundaries such as please don't follow me home or please don't touch me, etc., you let the spirits know the things that they may not be allowed to do. Some people are comfortable with being touched on the shoulder by a spirit. However, they remember to ask that they only be touched during the communication or during the hunt, but not in other situations, right? Having a strong sense of willpower protects in a similar way by putting up a mental boundary between yourself and any ghost that you may come into contact with. It's also important, to follow the same rules that you should follow if you were ever to go anywhere. Like Ben said, urban exploration. if you're a hiker, adventurer, or doing something outdoors, prepare for the area and don't go in without any prior knowledge of the location. Don't go alone. Tell people where you're going and when you may be expected back, and have some sort of emergency contact information. Imagine that you're someone sensible and you're not going cave diving.
Yeah.
What do you want to do in order to make it back home safe to your loving family?
Yeah, imagine you're not a cave diver and you want to see your family again instead of being a cave diver where you just have the urge for death that you're just having.
Yeah. Imagine you're not going to the Nutty Putty Cave.
Yeah.
Do that. Right. The most important thing, in my opinion, is that you either leave the place as you found it or leave it better than you found it. Respecting a location, whether or not it's served you by having ghosts or something interesting, is very important. Right. Safety in ghost hunting, just like in real life, is all about situational awareness, respect, and boundaries. Sure, people will try to get in between you and all that, but at least in this specific space, you've done something in order to try and be safe in the face of any potential negative energy. Now, we're going to go into something very specific that I mentioned. Ouija boards. The Luigi board. And safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a game. It's a Hasbro thing, right? And it's probably not real. But why not just try to be safe in the meantime, right? In looking this whole thing up, some people straight up say that you should not use one at all. My family is one of those things. No Ouija boards in the house. No use of the board allowed. Do not even be in a place where one could be if you can. Low key, while looking up how to stay safe while using Ouija boards, even saying it right now feels weird, right? It's like I looking it up, felt like I was doing something very bad. Yeah. I was like, I might not believe, but I'm like not touching it, right? Which is in a sense like, is that belief? Like, even if I don't believe in it, like whatever. The presence of a Ouija board is possibly the idea of something that you don't want to encounter, just in general, is what I grew up with, right? However, let's say that you're not necessarily against them and want to use them. Knowledge is better than abstinence, right? Abstinence don't work, guys. Just in general, y'all, just know about something, right? When looking up how to stay safe while using them, I genuinely encountered a lot of people that went, do not do that. Don't do it. When it comes to Ouija boards, even from some people who don't believe in them, which is both hilarious and nuts as a concept, right? I recommend the same stuff that you would do to mentally and physically prepare for a ghost hunt. And so do quite a few of the people who want to help you take it safe and easy with the board. Based on the stuff that I found, here's something that you can do. 1, don't do it in your own house.
Okay.
Don't do them dirty in front of your own house. Right? 2, follow directions and be polite. 3, say a prayer or some words of comfort and guidance for yourself. When you're doing it, do not take your hand off the planchette. 5, be aware that some interactions may be misleading and could be playing tricks on you. And 6, this is apparently the most important thing that people fail to do is you have to close the session and you have to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think that
right.
I think that all happens at the movie Ouija.
Jesus. But yeah, staying safe while communicating with the dearly departed or ghost hunting requires a lot of respect, research, and understanding. You have to be aware of what you're doing because you can run into situations that would make even the toughest of ghost hunters go insane. So now that you know all of that, it's evident that while paranormal researchers, creators, and inventors are always innovating when it comes to ghost hunting and communicating with the other side, many are still using incredibly old school methods of communication. Because if it's not broke, it need not be fixed, right? You can improve upon it by developing some sort of technology to mimic a manifesting cabinet, spirit trumpet, dowsing rod, or whatever. But it's obvious that you can still stay pretty acoustic about it all, right? A manifesting cabinet can be a kitchen cabinet or a fancy room that's isolated and wrapped in foil, so you get some crisp ghost communications without interruption from radio frequencies or 5G, LTE, whatever. A spirit trumpet can be a party hat or a spirit box. You can use a dowsing rod for EMF or have a fancy EMF meter to tell you when there's electromagnetic frequency around that can be potentially disturbed. The art of ghost hunting can be fancy, but you can also keep it pretty Victorian. Yeah. It's all about the evidence, after all, right?
Yeah.
And that's me.
That's you. Interesting. Well, in the next episode, we're going to talk about why that's bullshit and why you need to buy some new, like, you need to buy some tech, bro. You got to have your kit. You got to have your fucking arsenal ready to go. You got to be ready to catch these motherfuckers. Catch them. You got to be able to get evidence, collect the evidence, present the evidence, make content, make money, get bans, get subscribers. We're going to teach you how to do that. So
I'm telling y'all, Ben hates
you can take your little fucking,
He's like,
is there a ghost in here? Is it in here?
He hates me.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that. We're going to be talking tech. Science.
He hates...
Getting shit done.
Keep it simple, you know? You don't have to... He hates me.
No, that's not true.
He's like, oh, that's so nice, JD.
It's a bit, JD. It's a bit.
Fuck JD. Like, oh, what JD said? Fuck that shit.
Okay. Fuck that shit. Yeah. No. Because, yeah, we're talking technology. Gear.
Capitalism.
The market.
The market.
Ghost market. Yeah, interesting stuff. I think a great overview of the history. And I think we will definitely be carrying over. I want to talk more like the methodology stuff, and like in the third part, I want us to talk about like what we would take with us ghost hunting.
Oh my god, yes.
So I think this is we got some good food for thought here on some options. Obviously, Ouija board not happening, but no. In the next one, we're going to get into more kind of like contemporary stuff that we see. And then, yeah, third one, I have a little game I want us to play. And then, yeah, we're going to talk what we would bring. And also, I feel like, obviously, we'll reflect. So.
Yeah, we'll reflect.
Yeah. But, yeah, this episode was written and produced by JD. For all our sources, please head to the website in the description below. All of our music is provided by Yager Frank. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't, tell an enemy, and just let them ghost. We do exist, so we'll be here.
We're saying goodbye to close the session. Bye.
Bye.